The ENGINUITY TPN module fills a unique gap within the MEDITECH system by providing real-time calculations and clinical decision support at the time of order selection, not after the ordering protocol has been completed. The TPN module can be used with custom or pre-mixed bags, and the calculation algorithm is designed using ASPEN Guidelines. Upon selection of a TPN order, the ENGINUITY rules will update the ordering provider with real-time interactions or alerts. At this point, the user must acknowledge these alerts in order to proceed. In this case, this patient has an active order on their MAR for propofol. The system is telling me that I need to adjust the lipids accordingly. This is important information as patients that are on TPN typically have very large med profiles. This information should be brought to the forefront for the provider to review before placing a TPN order. Notice here that I cannot click on X to get out of the screen. I have to click my acknowledgement footer button in order to proceed. In this case, the system is also alerting me that the patient has an active order for warfarin, Coumadin on the MAR, and that I should monitor the INR CFX values within the TPN order. Again, I have to click Acknowledge in order to proceed. Once I complete the series of alerts, I can now go into the protocol to fill out my TPN module. I can do this by clicking the Edit button or the P for Protocol. Once in the protocol itself, it will default in the correct protocol based on the premix bag that I've selected, as well as the TPN solution auto defaults in. I now must put in my indication for TPN. Each indication in this list is customizable to your organization, and each indication also has additional clinical decision support embedded behind it. If I select an indication, it will tell me more information about that indication, about the patient that I'm selecting the indication for. If this is the appropriate indication for the patient, I can select the indication here. If I want to choose another indication, I can choose the Select Another Indication footer button and try again. My administration site and stress level, I can use my MEDITECH hotkeys. As soon as I put in my weight, which auto defaults in, our calculated values for ideal body weight, or if the patient is obese, adjusted body weight will default in. Because I selected a pre-mixed bag, all of my volume and energy, as well as electrolyte requirements from that bag will default in based on the solution I selected. I can add the appropriate fat emulsion and update the calculator from here. I can edit, if I want to, any of these requirements. However, we can restrict these edits based on the premix bag selected. Notice down here that our volume and energy references as well as our electrolyte references will auto default in. This is because you cannot see associated data associated to an order within an order protocol. We are pulling that associated data to the forefront for the provider to use in their clinical decision support for TPN ordering. We've also included a display protocols option. This will bring the information that the provider wants to see to their attention as they call it. Using the protocol hotkeys, we can use these series of letters to get more information about dosing for specific patients. If, for instance, I type C for carbohydrates, it gives me more information about how to dose TPN for carbohydrates and the different types of patients that may be taking TPN. I can also use P for protein, and it will give me more information about daily maintenance, if my patient's on dialysis, etc. Scrolling down to our additives section, each one of our individual additives has embedded clinical decision support. If I want to add insulin, for example, I can again use my energy references to see the last glucose lab result for the patient. If I want to add a unit of insulin, I can type 1 here, and my associated clinical decision support will bring up my blood glucose protocol as well as the patient's glucose infusion rate. If I want to give vitamin K, as soon as I change the value, I will get vitamin K, deficiency signs and symptoms, treatment and repletion, as well as the toxicity levels. Notice here that it's telling me to consider anticoagulant control for patients that are on warfarin. This is why it is important to bring that information to the provider at the forefront of the ordering session. I was just alerted that my patient's on warfarin, so I can take that into consideration when adding additives to the order. The calculator will reference the volume, energy, and electrolyte requirements defaulting in from the premix bag to calculate daily values based on the patient's ideal or adjusted body weight. These are broken down by volume, protein, carbohydrates, fat, and energy. The calculator will also tell you how many bags you are going to need in the next 24 hours and relay that information to pharmacy. It will also calculate the actual rate that you will need to plug in to your order. Your daily formulation will calculate as well. The comment text fields act as a communication tool between the ordering provider and the pharmacist. The Clinical Alerts Audit Trail will provide information about alerts the ordering provider received at the start of the TPN ordering session. These alerts are customizable by your organization, and the audit trail can also be removed or suppressed from clinician view. When administering a TPN bag on the MAR, the user must first go through the TPN administration checklist based on ASPEN Guidelines. Each question must be marked as complete in order to complete the administration. Want to learn more about Galen ENGINUITY? Click the link to request a demo.